Right now, our American government is doing its best to try to make us forget something very important that happened to us 5 years ago. And I hope you stick around because you're going to be surprised at all the things that you forgot. And you're going to remember why they desperately want us to forget so badly. What 2020 proved and what we let slip away. In 2020, something extraordinary happened. The world stopped. Everything stopped. We all stayed home. And that was it for a while. But something else started, something powerful and nearly forgotten. We all saw what it looked like when America chose to care for its people. Remember? Remember? And 5 years later, just 5 little years later, that glimpse of a possibility has all but vanished. This is certainly quite the opposite of what we had in 2020. Compared to now, it's just unbelievable, the difference in how our government is treating us and how they're choosing to govern. But let's begin with the facts. In March of 2020, the U.S. government passed the CARES Act, a $2.2 trillion relief package. Just $2.2 trillion. We've been hearing a lot of numbers lately, and it was a $2.2 trillion relief package. It sent direct payments to over 150 million people in America. It expanded unemployment. It protected renters. It put food on the table. And later, it lifted millions of children out of poverty. The result? In 2021, child poverty dropped to historic lows. Food insecurity dropped. Millions stayed home. Millions had breathing room for the first time in decades. I know it was, I loved it. I loved being home with my family. I loved every moment of it. And yes, I did love having food on my table. I loved being able to take a breath, to breathe, to think, to feel, to relax. For a moment, the system lifted instead of leaning. And remember, the planet even noticed. Remember that? Carbon emissions dropped by 17%. The skies cleared up. The noise faded. Wildlife returned to places long pushed out by traffic and noise and pollution. But unfortunately, that moment has passed. And by late 2021, the expanded child care credit had expired. Congress and the White House let it end. Biden didn't renew it. He let it expire. In a single year, child poverty more than doubled. Unemployment benefits were cut. Eviction protections disappeared. Rent surged. Wages flatline. Still, they stayed flat. People weren't rescued anymore. They were told to get back to normal. By 2024, oh, the message was so clear. President Biden's administration emphasized return to office, return to work, return to the system, return to the system. But normal wasn't safe, and it wasn't working. Americans now face record high debt. Housing is less affordable than it's been in 30 years. Wages haven't kept up, but corporate profits, oh yeah. They've never been higher. It's as if the safety net wasn't gently pulled out from underneath us. It was just cut off in midair. Now, this isn't about blame. This really is just about remembering. It's just to try and remember what it was like in 2020. We're being asked to forget that we saw a better way. Actually, we're not being asked. We're being forced into forgetting that there is a better way. That we proved that poverty is a policy choice. We proved that climate responds when we do. It was a truly beautiful thing that was happening to our planet during that time. proving that we can make a difference, and that we proved people thrive when the system gives them space. 2020 was hard. It was really, really hard. But inside of it was a lesson. We can slow down. We can care for each other. We can change. We can change. We can change. The question isn't, can the government act boldly? We already know it can. The real question is, will we let that vision fade? Or are we going to demand that we get it back? So 2020 was a really horrible year, but it was also one of the best years of my life. It was nice being able to breathe. It was nice slowing down with my family. It was amazing what happened to the planet. And the fact that we were all fed and we were all taken care of, and knowing that all those children were lifted out of poverty and that we all had money to spend, it was really nice. And compared to what we had before and after, yeah, it was really nice. And maybe it could have been better. But the government wants us to forget all this. They want to forget that they ever did that for us. They want us to think that they have no money. And, well, I mean, I suppose if they're not giving it to us and they're giving it all to, the billionaires, then maybe they are broke because they made too many deals. But, I would like to see, I know it's not going to happen now with Trump in office because all his money is going towards the rich. But in the future, I would like to see our government be better and maybe even consider a UBI for the American people. A lot of people out there who are just working full time and just not making it, You don't want to raise the minimum wage. You don't want to, make sure that people have health insurance. Well, then what the fuck do you want from us? I don't know. But you can't keep cutting us down and expecting us to just bend over backwards for you. It's just, this is not sustainable. You cannot make people go hungry. You can't. That's just going to be a problem. 2020, it can happen. It did happen. We didn't dream it. It was real. Our government can be different. And I'm not asking for handouts. I'm not asking for, when I say that I would like to see a UBI, I earn that money. I earn that money by being an American. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that any one of us doesn't deserve that. Sorry, my dog's desperately trying to get me to play. So I guess on that note, I shall wrap it up. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you in the comments. Bye.